Should I even do it this way? Whatever. Normally, I don't use CNN as a source, but I mean, there's some good raw video on here. I'm going to explain to you what happened, but not with this. I'm going to attempt to reserve judgment completely, I guess. Sorry, let's get that bar out of there. Damn it. Here's the long story short. I was in a live stream on somebody else's channel. I'll link him in the description down there. I did record a little bit of it, but I don't think I want to mess with releasing it. It's just keep it for posterity or whatever. Sunday night at about, oh god, what was it? It was about 12:30 Eastern. At 12:30 Eastern. And this dude's Pacific Standard Time, so I guess it was about 10:30. I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look at it, but the live stream was pretty jovial and fun until this happened, and it turned into an all-nighter, a complete all-nighter. At one point, I had to freaking lie down because I was so tired, but I couldn't sleep because this was going on. So I ended up lying down in the bed just listening to everybody who was in there. Like I said, I don't like using CNN as a source, but let's go through all this video. This may be a long vid, but all right.
Country Music Entertainer of the Year, Jason Aldean, was on stage. He was just finishing up his set, so this was the last moment of this big celebration. Hard to know if obviously any of that was in the shooter's head. We spoke to one of the Sirius XM hosts who was on stage with Jason Aldean, who just said, you know, like everybody, at first when this is happening, you can't believe it. Your mind can't go there. You think it's pyrotechnics. You think it's fireworks. You think it's anything but this. That somebody is just mowing down in cold blood all of these concert goers. We just don't have enough information yet. But look, I mean, you guys...
See, we still don't have enough information. I mean, there's a thing with that happened in the chat where I was like, at some point, I was like, it sounds like multiple gunmen. Like multiple shooters. We'll get to that in a minute. I've come up with an explanation for that based on one of the clips in here, which makes complete sense. We'll get to that in a minute, though.
Deal with this all the time. This isn't the first mass killing we've seen at a concert. These big venues are soft targets now.
Sure, and Allison, as you point out, the amplification of music and sound, and the fact that a number of the witnesses have now said they thought that the initial barrage of gunfire was the end of the show fireworks, and so that kept people in more of an unsuspecting mode for a lot longer, and let...
Sorry, I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I don't like editing my videos. At some point, I'm going to have to just buckle down and edit stuff.
Let this person continue to kill folks.
That's one. You saw Jason Aldean running off the stage.
Ringing off the top of the stage.
Running off the stage.
Trailers, people scattering, and there was, I mean, it was chaos. It was, I've never, and don't ever want to ever be a part of anything like this ever again.
Yeah, of course. And so what happened? Were you playing on stage with Jason, and how long did it take to figure out what was unfolding?
I was standing there, you know, I just come off stage before Jason's set, and I was back out there like we always do. We're all friends out here, and I was out there watching the show and wanted to support him. All of a sudden, you just heard a couple individual.
Okay, the stats on this are wrong. It's last time I checked, it's 59 dead and 515 injured. That could be because of people trying to jump over the fence and breaking ribs, and or people getting trampled too. So yeah.
But what sounded, you would ask yourself, that sounded kind of like a gunshot, you know? And then next thing you know, it was just unloading on, like, no doubt, an automatic sounding rifle or some sort of machine gun or something. And
yeah, we knew that from the get-go in the live stream. I was like, it sounds like an AK-47. Has anybody identified the weapon? Actually, what it was? Because it didn't look like an AK. So maybe it was like an automatic rifle, and it looks like, from what I've read, he had a semi-automatic too, and he had a shitload of guns in his house too. Wait till we get to his brother, because this shit's really weird.
And at that point is when you could tell the chaos and the fear in everyone's eyes, and their demeanor was changed, and everyone just started scrambling for any sort of cover. But I mean, the way it's set up and the way that you can see where the guy was in Mandalay, I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel from where he was. I hate to say that, use that sort of term, but I mean, it was...
The reason I've waited so long to do this is I don't want to do this in bad taste, you know, because a lot of fucking people died. And I do not want to politicize this. There's been a lot of people the last couple days politicizing this, especially on Twitter and shit. No. No. Stop.
I feel so bad for these people, and we're all lucky. We were just talking about this. My crew, everyone else's crew backstage, we're so lucky that none of us were in the line of fire, because there's so many innocent people that were there to have a great time. And that's what we're here to do for them, and they've lost their lives. This is not an exaggeration. This shooting was going on for at least 10 minutes. I mean, it was non-stop. And
well, I've heard 47 minutes. I don't know. Jeez. Oh.
By the time...
Well, this is from a guy who's on the bus. So they probably got the bus out of there and it still continued. I don't fucking know.
I got back to the bus after hopping in the fences. We were all laying down in the middle of the bus, and the gunfire was continuing outside. So this is something that was an ongoing situation.
Yeah.
We have some more social media video that we want to share with our viewers, and again, a warning, all of this very disturbing.
You're okay, I was close. We can't go yet. So we can't go yet.
You can tell they're just crouching there. They don't know where it's coming from. They can't get out. They're just told to lay low there, and just to hear the rapidity of that fire. And it came 3 times, pausing, and then again, pausing, and then again.
It's a fucking massacre. This is worst freaking mass shooting in U.S. history. Worse than Sandy Hook or anything else. Just
Scones are only a few miles away, but it's going to take us quite a bit.
I don't want a commercial.
Did you hear the engine note? I kind of zoned out. Everything was starting to come to a black hole.
God, that's in such bad taste. Putting an advertisement.
Virtual room is CNN.
It's such a bad taste. Putting an advertisement in between this. That's just in my humble opinion. Do what you want to do, but it's in bad taste.
Tom Foreman, and Tom, you've been able to lay out the scene. Tell us about this attack.
Yeah, if you look at the map, Jake, it gives you an idea of why this was so deadly. Here's the Vegas Strip that so many people know, running right through the middle of everything. The concert venue is right over here on the east side.
This is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good.
Mandalay Bay over here, and this is the room from whence this man was firing. So what he had was a really overreaching view of the entire venue over here, about 400 yards away, all easily within range of his weapons. Now, over that sort of distance, the weapons he had, what we know about them so far, he probably would have seen each bullet drop 2 to 4 feet, somewhere in there below where he was aiming, but that didn't matter. You heard all that rapid fire there? That rapid fire was being directed right toward the bulk of the people right in front of the stage like this. So it was simply a sweeping gunfire where there was no way for people to get out of the way. That's the first reason that this was such a deadly attack. Lots of people in a compact area that he could fire into. The second reason that this was...
Yeah, this is probably why a bunch of people had other injuries. They were probably, when they probably realized what was going on, there was like a stampede to the exits they came in, and it just got congested. It just got congested to where they couldn't get out. They had to get out one at a time, and this guy is still up there shooting at the center of the crowd. I guess that's what I'm gonna assume.
Such a deadly attack is fairly simple. There were 7 official exits to this concert area. The 4 on the side near me were also the entrances. We've heard eyewitnesses talk all day about people trying to go back out the way they came in. Psychologically, most people do this at times like this, so they were actually moving toward the gunman, not away from him, even those who tried to flee. And the last part of this, why the fatalities and the injuries mounted so much, is also the fact that many people did not know.
That is actually an interesting point. I think I would have run for the stage and got behind the stage. Everybody's running for the exits. I'm running for the stage to get behind the stage. That's just me. Now, I can't put myself in that situation. I may have followed the crowd because everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to go this way," and it's just, oh, this is just, oh wow.
Where this gunfire was coming from. Your last guest said she knew it was coming from above.
Well, like I said, I wanted to give it a couple days before I even covered this. There's still really no motive in this. At least not that I've seen, other than the guy was a gambler and he may have been bankrupt. It's just weird.
But a lot of other people all day have talked about saying we just didn't know which direction it was coming from. You watch the videos, you see people looking all sorts of directions, and ultimately, many of them hunkering down where they were, trying to be safe, even as she said, get down, he won't be able to shoot you, unaware that the whole time the gunman could see all of them out there, Jake. Those are 3 reasons why this attack went on so long.
There'll be pictures of the windows broken out. He had, I think, a double suite, and you could see the broken out windows are like 2 or 3 windows away. So he had 2 views of that crowd.
And so many people were killed and hurt.
The Dangote Group stands at the forefront of
Stop
African
that!
enterprise.
So.
Since 1978, we've touched the lives of millions of people by meeting their basic needs. Our belief in the promise of Africa.
I'm gonna take out these freaking. This is in such bad taste. I'm taking out the advertisements on this. It's in such bad taste.
Has taken us into 14 African countries. With substantial investments that will propel the continent towards greater prosperity, promising jobs, improved standards of living, and economic growth. Dangote, for an empowered Africa.
There's absolutely no way I can even conceive.
Okay, this is the dude's brother. I don't know where he lives. I need to look that up. But this dude sounds like completely genuine. I mean, he's like getting a high-pitched voice. Anyways, I look at body language and shit on people. It's one of the reasons I've survived this long, I suppose. But he sounds legit. That doesn't mean he's not, but sounds legit.
My brother would shoot a bunch of people he doesn't even know.
This guy had a $400,000 house that they've been searching, I think, yesterday and today. I don't know if it was finished. I'm sure there'll be a press conference on this at some point. There were a lot of guns there. This dude was disturbed somehow. I really want to know it. And I hear this dude's not even on social media. The shooter, anyways. Then again, this guy was 64. When was the last time you heard of a mass shooter that's like over, I don't know, 30? It's weird. It's weird as fuck.
Steve had no children ever that I know of.
And no, I'm not hinting here to some fucking grand conspiracy theory. I'm sure if you want that, you can go see Alex Jones for that. Jeez.
He was an army of one. I mean, he had a girlfriend, but he, hung out by himself and did stuff.
Why did he?
My father was on the top 10 list for a while. His name's Benjamin Hotchkiss Paddock, I believe is his name. I didn't know him. We didn't know him. He was in jail and broken out of jail. I was born on the run, and that's the last time he was ever associated with by our family. Steve had nothing to do with any political organization, religious organization, no white supremacists, nothing, as far as I know.
It sounds like the dude just fucking snapped for some reason.
Only known him for...
But he had to be planning this for some fucking time if he has all those fucking weapons. I don't... I'd like to know, because the dude's going to say he moved him out to right outside of Vegas. And he only had a couple handguns. I'd like to know what the timeline on this.
57 years. He didn't hunt. He didn't... I mean, he barely shot his guns ever. He had a couple of handguns that he kept in a safe. He doesn't even have parking tickets. He has no criminal record. He has no...
This is true. That I mean, this has come out. The dude had no criminal record. How do you... Just, I don't understand. Just like his brother probably doesn't understand right now.
Record of any affiliations. He has nothing.
Yeah,
he gambled.
Like to do? Just normal.
He was a guy who played video poker. Now, he played at a higher level than you people do, probably, but he had a lot more money than you people had. He was a wealthy guy, and he liked to play video poker. He went on cruises. He sent his mother cookies from, I mean, big, huge, crazy boxes of cookies and stuff. He could do anything he wanted.
Just weird. Weird. I didn't have the time to get to the actual raw video of all this. Yeah, I need to put a disclaimer on this video, definitely. It's gonna get... I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But if I try to monetize it, it's gonna get demonetized. I don't know, I haven't messed with anything for a couple weeks, so...
There's people in front of us that were getting shot. As you're hearing the shots going off, you were hearing just them hit the ground, and you were running, and you don't know what's going on.
Everyone had to fall on top of each other, whether they were alive or not, basically. It's just to stay down, because every time people got up, they just started shooting.
This whole thing is really sad, but there are a lot of heroes that came out of this. You're gonna see some of them here, which is actually reported. It sounds like accurately. I hate to say that about CNN, but it sounds like when something like this happens in the mainstream media, they report it somewhat accurately while it's going on, and then they politicize it. This is why I don't watch cable news. This is why I don't do it.
Seconds later, you just hear a pop, 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 and you just think it's fireworks or someone setting off a firecracker, and then at that same second, you realize, no, that's not. That's a gunfire.
That's not firecrackers. I don't know. It's not firecrackers. Trust me, it's not firecrackers. It didn't sound like it.
and then it goes again.
We determined there was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. Officers responded to that location and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead.
Don't stop beeping it out. You're on cable news. You don't have to beep the shit out.
I'm not hurting. Don't move! Don't move!
Yeah, I got the day off. This is good reason to crack a beer.
Don't leave. No, don't leave. Just stay down.
I wonder if the dude's targeting all the exits. Or if he's still shooting in the crowd at that point. Because, I mean, if he's still shooting into the crowd, the girl could be wrong, don't leave. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. This is all going to come out over time. Or raw video and shit. And we're gonna figure it out. Yeah, I know I'm lazy. I'm using CNN.
These girls were like just screaming and crying, and they were just like covered in blood and just, oh man, super heavy. And then again, we hear these rounds go off. It felt like minutes that these heavy.
I want to know motive. I want to know the motive, and I don't. Like I said, I heard this guy that has no social media. That wouldn't surprise me if he's 64. But then again, it kind of would surprise me because I know people who are 64 that are on social media. I mean, people who are older than that are on social media. But and again, it wouldn't surprise me unless he wasn't on social media for a purpose.
Machine guns were just like going on and just wouldn't stop. We then ran from the cop car, and the girl was laying down on the ground. Her friend was hysterical, crying. She got shot.
At one point in this live stream I was on, somebody said, and it wasn't the person who was live streaming, somebody said it was Antifa. It's like, Antifa is not that, they're crazy, but they're not stupid. They're not going to go out there and do this. They just beat people up and mace people in the face. This is not Antifa. No, it's not Antifa. No. And to the person who said that, hey, I watch your videos. I won't name names. But, yeah, you're wrong on that. I mean, it wasn't Antifa. Unless something comes out, hey, I will renege on that if it comes out that that's it. But I don't think that's it.
Turns out she got shot in the head, and then I remember my buddy like trying to help her and got her to the police car and got her inside. I don't know. She wasn't.
One of the reasons I say that is because Antifa doesn't do lone shit. They don't do lone gunman shit. They all go down there as a group and beat people up and mace people in the face and hit people up with flagpoles. This was not Antifa. It doesn't fit their MO.
Moving, she was completely unconscious. And then from that point on, again, we just heard more and more just machine gun, and we just bolted towards the parking lot.
The shooter fired hundreds of rounds for minutes on end. And then police say it does appear that he took his own life either before or as police burst into the room. We have audio.
Good. Bye-bye, motherfucker, you dick.
Of this raid, of what is called a dynamic encounter, as police blasted through the door. Listen.
And sit on the suspect's door. I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else.
Copy. All units on the 32nd floor. SWAT has explosive breach. Everyone in the hall needs to move back. All units move back.
Breach, breach, breach.
Breach, and you heard the blast right then, and then the gunman, either right before or right after, police say they believe he took his own life.
It's like an...
Okay, so here's this dude's brother again. His brother's gonna talk again, so it's just weird.
Asteroid fell out of the sky. We have no... He hasn't... You know, I'll go through the... You know, now it's... Last time I talked to him was he texted me to ask how my mom was after we didn't have power for 5 days in the neighborhood. You know, he talked to her on the phone a week or two ago and then sent her a walker because she's having trouble walking. I mean...
Something in the back of my mind wants to know if this guy was ever in the military and has PTSD. I don't know. That's just... I haven't seen anything about that. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. I'm not saying that's what it is. It's just a thought.
Doesn't sound like a guy who would do that.
You think? I mean, I thought I was trying to convey that a little bit. Well, that's why, like I said, this is like an asteroid fell. There's no... I mean, he had no machine guns when I moved him from Melbourne to Mesquite. I mean, find out who gave, you know, who he bought the machine guns from. And once...
That's what I'd like. I would like to know the timeline on that. Has anybody got the timeline on that? Has anybody done a timeline on that? Fuck.
Again, it's there's no blaming. You know, it's just he bought the machine guns and he did this. I mean, it was him who did this. There's no doubt about it because he was him. I mean, he was
completely out of character.
He's never. I mean, he's never even drawn his gun. Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. He's never hit anybody. He's never...
Gun enthusiast or just
never.
A few...
Well, he had a couple of handguns, I think. You know, he had a safe with a couple of handguns. He might have had one long rifle, but he didn't have any... I mean, he had no automatic weapons that I knew of at any time. There's no... It just makes no sense. Like I said, it's an asteroid fell.
That's weird.
How's everyone in the family? I mean, other than the obvious.
We're up. I mean, I got a 90-year-old mother whose son just killed 50+ people and now is dead.
That's totally weird. That dude sounds totally convinced. I mean,
Sonny Melton died a hero.
This is one of the hero stories. Check this out. Oh, wow.
When shots rang out, Melton grabbed his wife Heather and then began to usher her to safety when he was shot in the back. "He saved my life," said his wife, adding, "I want everyone to know what a kind-hearted, loving man he was."
There was very short increments where there was breaks in between the shots.
Vanessa, an off-duty nurse, initially ran for cover, but then her training kicked in and she ran back into danger.
I went back because I'm a nurse and I just felt that I had to. So I went to 3 different scenes, and by the time I got to the 3rd one, there was just dead bodies.
Beyond the bloodshed, she also found
Jesus
that
fucking
heroes
Christ.
were all around her.
There were so many people, just normal citizens, doctors, cops, paramedics, like nurses, just off duty. Everyone was just communicating and working together. It was completely horrible, but it was absolutely amazing to see all the people come together.
That's a brave girl right there. Whoever's got that girl is a lucky man.
Mike Cronk was another one of those who had come together. His friend was shot 3 times in the chest.
Most people started scattering and they climbed the fence, but I had to stay with my buddy. So we got him over the fence once the fires stopped and slid him under his stage so we were safe. My first thoughts were for my buddy, you know. I mean, I wanted to make sure he was taken care of, but, you know, we were pretty much yelling at everybody to stay down, you know. That was what we needed to do.
And some heroes we may never know. Amy McCaslin and Crystal Goddard were shielded from bullets from a man they had never met. He was shot as he held them, bleeding on a McCaslin's shirt. As the carnage continued, the 3 kept repeating, "Everything is going to be okay." Over and over.
People over to the hospital.
The women still don't know if the man survived. An unknown hero of an unspeakable tragedy. Martin Savage, CNN, Las Vegas.
So we were backstage, stage right, and I first remember hearing like pop, 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 and it sounded like it almost came from like the speaker system. And I was like, oh man, that doesn't sound really good. And then it happened again, and I look and I saw the tech guys, and they're scrambling around like trying to figure out what's going on. And then it happened again, and it was pop, pop, pop.
Don't even give me a copyright shit on this, because this is fair use. I'm commenting on this shit.
Pop, 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 pop. So loud, like super loud. And then the next thing you know, the sound is completely off for the musicians, and all you hear is like this heavy machine gun just going off, and you just hear people just screaming.
Okay, maybe this is it. The heavy machine gun going off.
And so we're just like so confused because we thought this was like some technical difficulty. Now it's like something more. There's someone yelled a gun and people are screaming, and so we're exiting off stage and we're going around the stage towards the right, and people are just like climbing all over the fences trying to get out, and people are just screaming again, and then you just hear pop, 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 pop. It was like, I mean, it sounded like 50 plus rounds were just going off, and people to like the left and the right of us are like down on the pavement. Like we made it so like we went towards like the parking lot, and we were able to like hide behind this cop car.
Okay, you remember how I said earlier that in the chat we were like watching this and we were like, there's 2 gunmen? This might explain it. Just listen.
And I remember just getting around this cop car and just...
I think this is the guy who said it.
Hearing bullets just whizzing and just like bouncing like... like on the ground nearby, and these girls were like just screaming and crying, and they were just like covered in blood, and just, oh man, super heavy. And then again we hear these rounds go off. It felt like minutes that these heavy machine guns were just like going on and just wouldn't stop.
You know, he's saying machine guns, plural.
We then ran from the cop car, and the girl was laying down on the ground. Her friend was hysterical, crying. She got shot. Turns out she got shot in the head, and then I remember my buddy like trying.
I'm about to explain to you why everybody thought in that live stream, and I thought this too, that there were multiple shooters. I've since thought it out, and it makes sense, but I'll explain it to you.
And to help her, and got her to the police car and got her inside. I don't know. She wasn't moving. She was completely unconscious. And then from that point on, again, we just heard more and more and more just machine gun, and we just bolted towards the parking lot. And then we saw security people too, like running like away, like the police like had no idea like where it was coming from or what. Like they were just like, you gotta run to safety, you gotta get to safety. And so we just like bolted to the parking lot, and thank God this guy came in and asked if we needed a ride, and it was just like it was an angel. Just were able to just jump in that car and leave, and man, like in complete shock right now of what just happened.
It is
Trying to
completely...
explain to you the best I can.
Brendan, you've done an amazing job explaining to us what you saw, what you went through.
Okay, maybe it's the next guy. I can't remember. I've kind of a little bit watched all of this. I can't remember, but we'll get to it.
Is something that no one should ever have to go through. It's extremely traumatic, and it takes incredible strength, not just to get through it, but to be able to talk about it like you are this morning.
We were, my bandmate and I, we just came walking back from backstage, and we snuck out into the audience to see the show. We wanted to see the last performance out front, and we were pretty close up to the front of Jason Aldean, and about the fifth song or so, we hear pop, 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 pop.
This is the count's wrong. It's 58, 59 dead, 515 injured. Like I said, it's probably because of everybody wanting to get the fuck out of there so fast.
And we thought maybe it was firecrackers or something, and then we hear it again, and maybe it's the sound system, or maybe he's got pyrotechs that are not.
Maybe it's a sound system. Okay, here's my theory. Because at the time we were all in the chat room looking at the fucking live streams and clips of this shit that people were posting, and even I was like that's multiple weapons. But if you've got a weapon going off 400 yards away from a sound stage, you're gonna get I don't know what to call it, feedback of that weapon into the sound stage. There's gonna be a delay, and it's gonna come out. It's like 400 yards away. It's gonna sound like two shooters. It really is. It's gonna sound like two shooters. And at the time, I didn't even think about this. I didn't think of Jason Aldean ran off the stage, and they didn't think to turn the sound off. So if the sound's not off, it's gonna sound like you got multiple weapons going at the same time with a little bit of delay. That sounds like what happened. Oh God, somebody's gonna create a conspiracy theory over this. I mean, they really are. That sounds to me like what happens. Because if you think about it, I'll fucking go try to find a clip later on where it sounded like two guns at the same time, and it was really close together. It was like you gotta remember, it's 400 yards away. You got a delay. You got a distance delay, and then you probably have, because it's a big sound system, because it's Jason Aldean, you probably got a processor delay too on that shit too, being pumped through a mixer or something. It could be a 5-second delay, and that's kind of what it sounded like. It's like I don't know, I don't remember. I had to go look back at the clip. It sounded like a 2-3 second delay. Yeah, it was, in my opinion right now, I've changed my opinion. It's not, yeah. The gunfire got picked up in the sound system on the stage, and it got repeated with a delay. I guess. That's my running theory right now. Yeah, that's my running theory. This is a complete tragedy. I mean, I was in a live stream, and we were all taken aback by what was going down while we were in the live stream. I think at one point when everybody started this stuff and said, "Oh, there's an active shooter in Vegas," even I was like, "Holy shit, holy fuck." Yeah, but I'm now thinking the multiple gunman thing, and I was saying this at the time because it sounded like multiple gunmen, but if it's getting picked up by the sound system on the stage, there's gonna be an echo. There is gonna be an echo, and it's gonna be delayed. So yeah, that's what it was.
Working, and then when we heard a spray of it, and we see Jason drop his guitar and take off running to the back, and the lights go out on the stage, we knew something was wrong. But then the guy down in front of us about 10 feet up goes down. The guy to the right of him about 3 feet over goes down. And when I look back, Ben and I both look behind us. 2 girls go down, and he says run, and you see the crowd running towards us, which was, they were running to just the back corner. And so we're running away from him to not get ran over and not knowing where to run to. And I grabbed the 2 girls in front of me. I just grabbed their hands.
God, I can only do this so much. So I may do another one on it in a couple of days. I can't. This is just really shitty. Hey, MundaneMatt, thanks for staying up so fucking late and keeping us up to date on your live stream. I'll put your link in the description. If you don't know who MundaneMatt is, check his channel out. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Check him out. No, I think I'm gonna just leave with black. That fucking shit fuck with my head. Sucks because it was a good live stream up until that happened. It's not your fault, Matt. It's not, as another Matt to you, it's not your fault, Matt. It's not your fault. It's just really shitty week. Really shitty week. Later, guys. Like I said, I may do another one later, but it'll probably be in 2 or 3 days. I want to see what this guy's motive was. I know it's supposedly bankruptcy, but the whole thing sounds fishy. I mean, it does. Anyways, have a good day, guys. I didn't mean to depress you too much. Bye.